Hello and welcome to another one of these Mythic Plus videos, guys. This dungeon is gonna be Mists of Tirna, as you can see. Tyrannical, Spiteful, Necrotic, Tormented. Fully pugged key. Don't know any of these guys, so I was a bit nervous going into this, but composition was pretty nice for the wig we were dealing with. I put Mind Suit there just in case. I didn't really dispel these guys, so I thought I'm gonna mass dispel that, and then one guy escaped. I didn't build up my flesh concentration signal, so I was a little bit behind, and I was sort of in a very, like, not panic mode, but I was in a little bit of distress here, and I felt like I was kind of losing control, so I popped behind here, which was a bit risky because I could have gotten the front wall as well, and then I would have to move and cancel it. But yeah, I toofed myself here because of the ghost, because I knew I had to keep casting to keep people alive, and that was a good play. Here we were just dealing with shades. I threw out fear, and Druid, I think, died to spirits, so that's on him, not on me. I'm not saying this as like you know, he died, you know, no, I'm just saying, like, there's nothing I could have done for him there except maybe like pop a CD to keep him up, but you know, I looked and I thought he's fine, and then he just didn't move, so yeah, that's kind of on him. Mind Suit here, you guys know how it works. The skip. I also Mind Suit this, just in case. People should not really be obviously pulling them, but I think without Mind Suit at this point, I think it's like not a lot of room to work, which is very sketchy, because what could end up happening is somebody will have to run out, and then we might have like two people run out at the same time, so the person will have to run a little bit extra, and that would just cause like a lot of stress for everybody. So I was like, why risk it? I can just Mind Suit. I don't need to like hardcore heal here anyway, and you will see me resuiting the targets, I think. I'm not casting it now, but I think I will be resuiting soon. And there we go. Resuit. Okay. Yeah, just to make sure, you know. Just making sure. And you guys know the drill with this guy. It's not super hard as long as people do the mechanic. If they don't do the mechanic, there's like a high chance somebody will die, because this dot actually melts. This guy does hit hard, and we also have reduced healing on him, so it's not really something you can just ignore. Also, one thing I wanted to say about the first pull is make sure you're dispelling tank. You need to dispel tank. Tank will get smashed with a debuff on him. And same here. It's these, I think it's Soul Cleavers that cast it. There is a debuff that gets cast on tank, and it deals it increases the damage they take, I believe. And it really, like, if you don't dispel that, no matter how much you're healing, you're gonna lose your tank. And also one thing to note here is, like, they always cast two, and if you interrupt one, the second one is coming. Sometimes it's worth to not interrupt that, so you can double dispel it. So you can tell that to your group. You either interrupt both, or you don't interrupt both, so you can instantly dispel it. Also, I think if one gets interrupted, the other one doesn't, like it happened now, it's worth to wait for the second one to be applied to dispel them both if you only have one dispel. Now, as priest, I have mass dispel as well, so I would be fine either way, but you know, just make sure your tank stays alive. He needs to not have that debuff on him for too long. They will die unless they have like a major CD. And as you know, with these guys, they can be dangerous, so I used because I know they will start thrashing only after 50% HP. I have used our DPS cooldown on start, and I have used keep my healing cooldowns now, Sanctify and Serenity, and just reapplying that Prayer of Mending. That's a really good source of healing for us, because it's basically free renew on every target when the area damage comes, and plus heal obviously from it, but the renew aspect is not to be underestimated. And the renew isn't really the best heal, but it helps keep people alive passively, which is big, because it's one global city passively on a spell we want to use anyway. It's like you need to use that. I would even say on a CD maybe. Like, just keep casting it. It's really powerful. If there is AoE damage, obviously. I still need to get like a little bit better at casting it. Just don't cast it on a target that's not gonna take damage. So like, on this boss, obviously you can cast it with.
Run away.
One more thing to note is, notice how I'm saving PI. Actually, I'm not sure if I'll save PI. I'm usually against holding PI, but I think on Tyrannical you kind of have to PI for the boss. But the thing about this boss is like the boss fight starts at like 40 seconds into the boss fight, right? When you get the tree down, so it's a little bit of a specific fight. Also, one thing you can do, by the way, is when you're picking up these powers, you can be efficient as a healer. If you're having mana issues, what you can do is you can open the anima power, click to eat, and then pick your anima power. It's like 5 seconds of eating, and it's very time efficient, and you want to be doing it. And this fight was actually really hard. Like, people always think Mists is easy. Mists on Tyrannical is not easy. These bosses are they can be difficult, and you will see that in certain cases in this key things are gonna get very sketchy on boss fights. I'm gonna talk about it when it happens, but I'm just saying, like, Mist is not an easy key. Don't let people tell you that. And maybe from DPS perspective, but from a healer perspective, this fight can be very stressful, and there is also Mist Caller can be very stressful when he uses the illusion thingy, the duplicates, and also same for Tridova. Like, Tridova is a long fight that causes a lot of issues and movements, and people aren't stacked, and especially now, like, that I'm playing Holy Priest, I'm realizing how it can be very hard sometimes to just keep people alive because of how, like, spread they are, right? Because, like, we rely on Sanctify as a main AoE heal, and then we can also pop up Apotheosis and do another Sanctify, but you can't do that if people are not stacked. And actually in this fight, this is something that really frustrated me, and if I was playing with guys on Discord, I would have told them to stack up, but these guys obviously don't know how Holy Priest works, otherwise they would have been stacked more. Like, there is no reason not to stack on this boss fight. You also save room by stacking, because the pools are not gonna... See how pools are flying everywhere now? Well, they wouldn't if we were just stacked. Like, they wouldn't just go on us, like, that's not how it works, but at least the ones that are targeted would not go everywhere, they would go on the place we're stacked. So, just overall, you know, just pug life, it is what it is. Try your best to keep people alive. It's not easy though, don't be ashamed of this boss. If this boss fight is hard and then you hear people saying, dude, Mist is like the easiest key, don't feel bad. It's, you know, people like to say that about a lot of things, but that's not always true. It's easy to talk about things you don't understand. You know, DPS players and the healers have completely different perspective on what's hard and what's not. Same goes for tanks, right? Like, tanks will say certain bosses and certain pulls are the most difficult, because us as DPS and healers will be like, what are you talking about? And then, you know, as like a tank mechanic that we don't see really. You guys know what I mean. Just, you know, no shame in this being hard. This is hard. This is difficult. You can see the overwhelming amount of damage. Like, look at this damage. It's so high. I'm probably gonna pop him here. Yeah, I'm popping him, and we're gonna combo trace this guy. I hope so. And for the next big AoE burst damage, I'm probably gonna pop up Apotheosis. This is something I need to, like, get out of habit of doing. Although that's not why he died here. He died because of we just positioned poorly. That's literally the only reason why he died. But if we were positioned a little bit better, I would have just popped Apotheosis and I would keep people alive. No problem. Like, nobody would die if we were just more stacked. But they were out of my range and I could not reach them. This is why this boss is hard. It's all about positioning. Also, I would highly suggest on Tyrannical Wicked List, it's very worth to just bring a shaman. Like, healer shaman, obviously that will suck because that would mean I wouldn't have a spot, but LA Shaman right now is also luckily quite good, or even enhancement if you have, like, melees. It's not the worst, but but just for that, Tremor Totem. Actually, does enhancement have Tremor Totem nowadays? I don't even know. I would assume yes, but I'm actually not sure. But yeah, just LA or Resto will bring you that immunity to fear, and that is insanely valuable in this fight. It's crazy how valuable that is. And we really drifted this fight hard. Like, I don't know why, but it feels like, I think the druid didn't convoke on the second Ingram. Like, he just never convoked, and, like, I don't know what he was thinking. That's... Yeah, his invoke... Dude, his convoke is not the CD. Okay, like, if he didn't convoke there, he's literally trolling, but, you know, it is what it is. And here I finally pop up Apotheosis, I pop Circle of Healing, Sanctify, just keep trying to keep people alive. It was very difficult, but I managed barely. We had a lot of close calls.
You will do my
But we did it.
A great evil lurks nearby. Expel it with haste.
Yay! My friends are here to play! Come along!
And here I asked them to bring a pack as well, but I mean I got hit by that. I don't know what I was thinking.
Spear flurry.
I mean it's because I was writing, but you know that's a bad excuse. Like don't write. And here he combat resed me, but there's a reason why I didn't take combat res. It's because I know
Spear
that for
flurry.
this they don't need healing. Like they just need to not like get hit by spear.
flurry.
They do not need healing here. Like mage has block, he has alter time, they should not die here, so why waste combat res, we better save it. So I
Spear
declined.
flurry.
I didn't know if they activated the night fating,
Spear
so I
flurry.
was waiting for that. I'm just waiting, I asked. I didn't want to ask during the pulls, so they don't get distracted, yeah. So I pick here my power and we keep going. In the maze, as a healer, you should be trying to solve the maze. But nowadays there's like a lot of good add-ons and all of that stuff that you can use to tell you where to go. I'm not really sure how ethical those add-ons are, but there is a logarithm solution to the
Spear
maze.
flurry.
Like once you solve it twice, I think, or 3 times, somebody correct me, these add-ons just know where to go from then
Spear
on, because
flurry.
this is like all predetermined. Like there's a couple of variations that are always the same. And the add-on just
Spear
knows
flurry.
like after the 3, you know, it eliminates possibilities. Like sometimes it's after 2,
Spear
sometimes
flurry.
it's after 3, but the add-on like will just tell you immediately
Spear
where to
flurry.
go. But in case nobody in the group has it and you and your friends don't really know how to use it or whatever, you can try and solve the maze as a healer, since your DPS contribution is the weakest, so it's probably the most time efficient thing to do. And yeah, it's just the most time efficient thing, since you're contributing the lowest to the damage of the team. On Fortified this gets even more difficult because so the thing on Fortified is these pulls can actually be difficult and they can cause wipes, obviously, since it's Fortified, depending obviously on also the other affixes. So there
Spear
I would
flurry.
recommend it's better to keep people alive and healthy and
Spear flurry.
just keep them alive, because so the thing is, the time it takes to solve the maze, if you guys are organized, and obviously if you're trying to time high keys, like you should be organized, is maybe 10 seconds, worst case scenario 20, and that time loss is more worth than you not DPSing plus potentially losing somebody. You know what I mean? Like, you not DPSing plus somebody potentially dying is more time than killing the
Spear
pack
flurry.
and then doing the maze.
Spear flurry. Nourish the forest.
Let me know what you guys
Nourish
think
the
about that.
forest.
Maybe somebody will disagree and make a good argument that that's not the case, so let me know in the comments, but I actually think that that makes sense, so I would advise against
Nourish the
risking people
forest.
dying to solve the maze. Only if you're feeling confident that you can do things. Also, if you're Holy Paladin or Mistweaver, you just have to be in the melee anyway, so you can't really
Nourish
solve
the
the maze.
forest. Spear flurry. Spear flurry.
You did it! Good guess!
Shred armor. Radiant breath. Pool of radiance. Radiant breath. Shred armor.
You're almost there.
Bramblethorn coat. Nourish the forest. Nourish the forest. Bucking rampage. Bucking rampage. Nourish the forest.
No fooling you.
Alright, Mist Caller. There's a lot to say about this boss, but ultimately it's a very simple boss. If you play with pre-made friends, the one thing I would recommend is agree who's gonna CC the fox and don't touch it. Be very careful about not touching it. Here we already AoE'd it, so I decided to just kill it with the last of the explosion and the Ascended Boon. I opened up with big damage because I knew that there's not going to be much healing at the start, and then I know that healing will pick up the intensity once the how do you call this ability? I always forget. You guys know what I mean. These illusion thingy. Once it starts, things get difficult, so we can see the overwhelming amount of damage, and I think the longer the boss lives, the harder it gets. I think that's how it works. And also if you're attacking the wrong one, they also deal AoE, so just dodge the balls. Tank needs to interrupt Patty Cake, freeze Fox, and this boss is free. If you don't do those, if you fail any of those, you will wipe. And you need somebody to recognize the symbols very quickly. I would recommend that you guys all do it, and whoever finds the solution first just marks it with a skull. But obviously, since this is a pod, we're just gonna wing it and trying our best to just, figure it out. Yeah, here we should have bloodlusted a bit earlier, but we didn't. We probably forgot. At this point, I remember looking at the clock and I was just thinking, yeah, we're not timing this. I thought this is just like a weekly or a loot run or however you want to call it. I didn't think this is timeable. But I will prove myself wrong. But you guys will see how tight this was. You guys will see how tight this key was. This was really something else. And also the reason why I like PIing Hunter is because their CDs just line up so good with ours. But yeah, just as I said, be careful about this boss. There's a lot of AoE damage incoming when she splits, so just make sure that people are alive. Also, you can use Guardian Spirits to save people if they're frozen into dodgeballs. You can Guardian Spirit them to save them. You can also grip them, so we as priests are pretty cool here. We can use Fear, and since we're holy, we can also use Chastise, which is pretty good tool for the fox, if we're not CCing it. All the way 2 druids and a hunter and a mage, we really should CC it, but if there really isn't anybody who's doing it, then you can do it with Chastise and Fear.
Will you play with me? You found me! Great job!
Dodgeball.
The time for play has passed. The winds urge us forward.
Aw, okay. No more risks. Hey! This doesn't look right. It doesn't look right at all.
And after this, I said, you guys saw the chat, I said like we need bigger pulls. This is gonna be a bit sketchy. This pull is actually hard. Well, hard. I wouldn't say hard. It's just you need to be aware. You will see how like dodgy it will get, because there's a lot of little ongoing damage that is slowly escalating, and we can't really cast while moving. So that really limits us on this particular boss, because there's movement needed, but also we are slowed, so it's just difficult. Here I had both Toothed and Guardian. I decided to just kind of like
stimulate resistance,
save my CDs. I didn't wanna, you know, I wanted to keep them for tank, because I know we plan to do a big pull after this, so I really wanted to keep those for tank. And you know, just keep dodging things, be careful, ghosts here, and you will, I think actually somebody will die here.
Slain.
Yeah, Druid is probably dead here. Yep.
Your own.
Yeah, you saw the situation, like slow plus ghost, and he was ticking down to the dots, so it just created like a very difficult situation for me, where I don't think I had like a optimal solution. I think I could have killed, I could have probably kept him alive, like, you know, I had fear, I should have feared ghost and then kept him alive, but what happens sometimes is you'll fear and then somebody will kill the ghost anyway, so that's not like a guarantee. I didn't want to die and I thought he's fine, so, but he wasn't, you know. He should have switched to bear form, to be honest, but he probably expected a heal.
Stimulate resistance.
Anyway, this is a big pull, got very scary, just popping
regeneration,
stealing as much damage as I can. And he dies again. Using that holy fire, just dealing as much damage as I can. These pulls are pretty easy for us as holy priests, because we actually have a lot of healing, but now that it's necrotic we can't really help tanks much, so that was really scary. And I think the tank will die actually, and I thought at this point, like, I was like, dude, there's no way we time this, right? There's no shot. But we did. And you guys will see how.
Stimulate resistance.
Spicy.
Stimulate regeneration. Stimulate resistance. Stimulate regeneration.
So yeah, at this point I think we just realized like we're gonna need big pulls if we want to time this, and I'm glad that the tank understood this, because at this point it's like YOLO, right? Like the only way to time this is we keep doing big pulls and hope for the best. And that's exactly what we had to do, and that's exactly what we did. We just kept going, big pulls, double pulls, triple pulls. These pulls are not something I would normally do, because some of them are actually more dangerous than they look, but it is Tyrannical, so big pulls are needed, and it just is what it is. Just kept going. Luckily Druid is a beast right now, probably the best tank in the patch currently. They're just unkillable. Like, dying as a Druid is embarrassing. And yeah, we pulled this. Here I was a little bit too busy healing, but I wanted to write something. I wanted to say that we need to pull a pack into the boss. because on start of Tredova there's actually not that much going on, so you can just kind of blast her plus the pack. It's sort of free. We did something a little bit different, you guys will see, but yeah, it worked out in the end. I'm just gonna let you watch the fight. There's not much to talk about this fight. You know, just be ready to run out for Mind Link, because us as priests, we do not have the best mobility, so just pay attention to who Mind Link is being cast. She will target somebody, as you can see now it's Hunter. Hunter just runs away.
Incubation.
He still gets linked to Druid. This Druid is... I don't like to flame or point out people making mistakes, but this Druid like is such a weak link in this key. He made, now that I'm rewatching it, like he made so many mistakes. I'll see his damage on the end overall. But guys, if you remember on the first boss, the only reason why we didn't kill the first boss is because he held Convoke for no reason as well and stuff like that. He's just a very sloppy player in general. But it's okay though, like I mean, you know, we didn't play perfect either, so...
Mind accelerated incubation.
And yeah, another Mind Link. We all got linked, but we got it out pretty quickly, that is good. And then Consumption. This is where it's a good time to pop a healing CD, but be careful. This is a bit tricky for us because Divine Hymn is not a good tool for Consumption, because there's a chance that Consumption goes on you and then you have to move.
You can't escape.
Acid expulsion. Accelerated incubation.
Devour them. They can smell you. No avoiding this one.
Acid expulsion.
One more thing to keep attention to pay attention to is we got lost in 40, right? So yeah, I wrote it down. It's funny how I wrote it at the same time as I said it. But yeah, last in 40, so I'm just holding PI for last now. Oh no, I'm not. No, I gave PI to Hunter because he popped Wild Spirits. Okay, that is still fine. I'm not sure what the more optimal way would be. Maybe somebody could tell me in comments. Like, would it be worth to hold it for the last?
Mind Link. Accelerated incubation.
And this was a bit sloppy for me. I didn't pay attention to Mind Link. I was stressed and I was looking at like lust and time more than anything. And Bear is gonna do something really cool now. You guys will see. And this was also a very sloppy Mind Link. I was busy healing and I just wasn't paying attention. Just sloppy. The way Mind Link works is somebody will get targeted and from them it will sprout out to nearby players. So all you have to do is play next to the rest of you can just stay together. You just need to create
Stimulate resistance.
The player who got targeted.
Stimulate resistance.
And here we got this thing, and I hope I'm gonna mess the spell this. Yeah. Okay, good.
Acid expulsion.
That's the spell. We brought a pool into this. I'm gonna get this we could have also pulled this a little bit easier.
Stimulate resistance. Stimulate regeneration.
But it worked out in the end, and as you can see, this key was very tight. I think if we didn't pull this early, we actually could have potentially not timed it. And look, this druid is still not convoking. Like, I think this druid isn't even Night Fae at this point. I think it's some other... I got fooled by the add-on. Yeah, we'll see his overall damage in the end.
Stimulate regeneration.
I don't know, it just feels like he's not really doing anything, to be honest.
You have proven that none of the weapons in
this was a very
can
cool key
best
to
you.
time, and I'm really glad we did, and it was really cool, and I commended Tank as well. You guys will see. GG Tank, nice pull. I stand behind that. He did a really good job. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Let me know in comments if you would like to see something else or if you have any sort of feedback, and I hope you guys have a lovely day. Goodbye.